The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right, well, welcome everyone, and thank you for attending today's Q2 product seminar. I see some of our current customers have joined today, along with a few new names. We're certainly glad that you're all here today. And before we get into the content, we wanted to call out a few items. All attendee lines will be muted. Please feel free to ask any questions in the chat box, and we'll answer questions live on behalf of you, time permitting. We will be sending a link out of the recording tomorrow to everyone that signed up. And keep an eye out for 2 poll questions. Responders are eligible for $25 Amazon gift cards, and we will have 4 winners from today's polls. My name is Jason Root, and I head up our operations here at Ascend 360. And leading our discussion and product demonstration today is Scott Buelter, our founder and CEO, and he'll be taking over in just a moment. In our Q1 webinar, we discussed and demonstrated our easy-to-use email designer and template builder. And today, we're going to be talking about our exciting new landing page tool and distinguishing that from a form builder. And so let's go ahead and get started. And before we hand it over to Scott, we did want to ask that first poll question. And the first poll question for today is, are you currently using landing pages as part of your marketing strategy? And I'll give you all a few moments to respond to that, and then we'll get going. All right, so I see some responses coming in, and it looks like this is going to be a helpful topic today. So I'll kick it over to you, Scott, and I'll start by just asking you to tell us a little bit about what you plan to cover today.
Yep. Okay. Thanks so much, Jason. So we're going to go pretty darn fast today, right? So the goal today is to talk about landing pages, right? What they are, when you should use them, why you should use them, what all the benefits are. And we're going to talk a little bit about best practices around landing pages as well. And the structure of landing pages in some sense kind of requires thinking about landing pages. And then finally, we're actually going to build a landing page together. I want to kind of give you a sense of how straightforward that is. Now, the reality is we've only got 30 minutes, so we're going to be going pretty fast. My goal is not to waste anybody's time. But if there's customers on that want a deeper dive, don't hesitate to ask us or let us know.
Awesome. And I know this is an important topic because we get asked about landing pages quite a bit from our current clients. So I guess just to start with the basics, what is a landing page?
Yeah, so a landing page is, if you will, a specialized website, and it's a single page website with a very specific goal, and that is, convert someone who's visiting that into a lead or a prospect. And you've probably seen this, right? You're on the web somewhere, you click some sort of social ad, or you click something, after you search for something on Google, and the page leads to a single page that is trying to convince you to trade your email address or trade some of your information in exchange for something valuable, right? Download a white paper, or get a free design consultation, or something like that. Landing pages, in some sense, have historically been driven by B2B companies, but more and more are being used by B2C companies when they kind of contemplate the funnel. And we'll talk about the funnel a little bit, but how do you convert a visitor into a paying customer?
So how is that different from a website? Why wouldn't you just send people to your website instead of a landing page?
Yeah, so the reasons are a few, and I'll kind of explain what they are. A website typically is a very busy place, right? It has navigation, it has all sorts of buttons, it's letting you shop, it's letting you go to different areas to learn about the business, or to see whatever you might have on there to sell. And it isn't a good place to say, hey, let's really just convert something for a very specific reason. And if you think about the sort of specific reasons you might be thinking about, right? If you're a bike shop, right, you might have a fleet of demo bikes and you want people to be able to find those. You want people to be able to sign up for, a demo ride. And especially if you know that, converting someone from a demo ride, a demo into a ride works really, really well. You might also have a bunch of inventory coming, right? Let's just say you bought 6 high-end carbon fiber bikes, and you know that they're coming in 3 weeks. Well, you might want a landing page that tells people about this bike. If it's a $10,000, $12,000 bike, or imagine if it's an electric bike, then you can talk about the merits of that bike and get people excited and interested beforehand. The example that we're going to actually build today is, the ability to kind of customize a wedding ring. So, you can imagine if a bride and groom are in the market for a wedding ring, it's an expensive purchase. It doesn't happen in one day. And if someone's searching for you, well, you probably want to get their information well before that purchase is made. So they're really going to consider you. You can imagine hotels and resorts, right? If you're considering a vacation, this is not an overnight sort of decision about where you're going to go. But if you can capture their information, you can tell them more about your hotel or resort or whatever it might be beforehand, or some sort of even subscription service, right? Many of our clients sell subscriptions, and that is a recurring purchase. It doesn't happen just in one sitting. So why don't we try to capture their information before that? So it really is a dedicated single page trying to get people interested and give you a little bit of information before they actually end up making the purchase.
Okay, makes sense. So a landing page is much more of a complete sales tool than a typical email signed form up. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's exactly right. What's very interesting is, many people are still having sort of a sign up for our newsletter, and the reality is nobody wants your newsletter anymore. They've got so many newsletters. What they do want is relevant content and relevant to something that they're trying to find out about. And that's literally what our platform is all about. And so a landing page is a great way to still entice people to giving you information that isn't simply, hey, here is a newsletter sign up form. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't have forms around your website that says, sign up for email. You'll certainly get some of those, but the conversion rate into a landing page can be a lot higher than in just a sign up for email spot.
Great.
All right, so let's kind of dig in, right? I'm gonna dig into best practices, all sorts of things. So let me just show you some example landing pages first, right? This is, Harry's Razors. If you go type in, razor on Google, you'll probably find a page like this, and you can see that it's just like get started. It's very simple. It's not all sorts of crowded, and that you'd compare to their website, right? And their website is shown here. It has all this navigation. It has joining. It has about. It has the ability to go shopping. It has the ability to get into some subscription, something like that, while the landing page is just simply a whole lot more straightforward. So, best practices. I'm going to go over like 6 or 8 best practices before we actually get into the building of a landing page. The first is, keep your key ideas above the fold. And so, the fold is effectively the bottom of the screen where someone starts to scroll. It's an idea, believe it or not, originally from newspapers, where a newspaper would be folded in half, and everything above the fold is what you actually see if it's lying on a table or something like that. And so you want to keep your headline, your unique sales proposition, your call to action all above the fold, and don't put more than you need onto that screen. So here, this example from Aldi, you've got a pretty background, and then you've got just a place to put in an email address and start shopping, right? Groceries delivered in as little as 1 hour, right? All really straightforward, easy to think about. This is really important. You know, before you even start designing or thinking about a landing page, create an offer and what are you actually trying to achieve. You want a goal of what the landing page is, right? If you've got a custom design service at your jewelry store, then make that your goal is to, you know, get people registered for a custom design session or something like that. You can imagine that those will be quite profitable. So an optimized campaign, your attention ratio should effectively be 1-to-1, and that is, it has one goal. You have one call to action and one place to click, right? You don't want a landing page that has 3 or 4 different goals. You know, subscribe here, shop here, buy this, all those sorts of things. That's you know, in a sense, the opposite of what you're trying to do with a landing page. And this example right here, you know, is a jewelry store, and it's just saying, you know, look, get your free brochure. That is, you know, if they actually have a beautiful catalog, and that they'll, you know, send out the catalog. Next best practice is just try to remove all navigation and, you know, extraneous links and offers. So this example comes from Unbounce, so thank you to them. But what you can see on this first example is a page with lots and lots of places to click, right? You click here, you can click in all these places, you can start shopping, all those sort of things. And if you've just got a general visitor, well, that's why you've built your website that way. But if you're trying to have a very specific offer, you want to just simplify it, right? And here you've got commuter bikes on sale, and this page is designed entirely to sell a commuter bike. Someone probably came from an ad, or, you know, somewhere on the internet that's talking about commuter bikes. They're already interested in commuter bikes. Let's not go confuse them with you know, selling road bikes or mountain bikes or whatever else that you're trying to do. So it is a clean, concise call to action that with a single CTA, right? All straightforward. Next one is, you actually do want to use the space below the fold. So you're going to end up using a lot of white space, but if your prospect is interested, they're going to start scrolling and learn a little bit more. And so let me actually show you this example. This is one that our team actually uses, and as you can see, it's got a simple CTA, you know, first name, last name, email address, and subscribe. But as you scroll, you can see that we've got more information about using your data and, you know, sending messages that matter, and, you know, the ability to, you know, build segments. And now the prospect is interested, and they're going to say, yep, I want to go subscribe, and you know, give us their information to learn more. Some other examples, right? You might have one that is, you know, this is a jewelry example, love is in the air. It's all very straightforward, but as you scroll down, you can learn more, right? And so some of the best practices that I'm talking about aren't really hard and fast, right? So in this example, you actually do have the ability to go shopping, and you do have the ability to learn more, and you do have the ability to learn where the store is. But when you see what's above the fold, all of it is this kind of very intentional example. This example is all very, very straightforward. This is, you know, an offer, you know, 20% off, give us your information and go get the deals, right? So all very straightforward there. This one around the Tour de France, another bike example. But look, you're ready for the Tour de France, sign up now, you're gonna win one. And as you go down, you can see that there's just a lot more information. Finally, this is the one we're actually gonna build in just a few minutes. So let's move on so we can get to that piece itself. Okay, next best practice is, right, it's a funnel, it's not a single step. And I think that's the way we think about, and I think, you know, best practice for marketers is when you are building landing pages, you're really trying to attract individuals into the very first step, right? So this example of equity multiple is, wealth building technology that stands above the rest, and it just wants you to get started. It wants you to learn more. Nobody thinks that you're just going to come to a website and say, you know what, I'm really interested to let these guys manage my money, and you're going to take that dive right then. That's the case if for almost anybody, especially with longer sales cycle, higher ticket items, right? The examples of jewelry and wedding rings, or buying a bike or going on a vacation, but it certainly can be just about anything. And even if you have a bike rental fleet, or you are renting skis, the first step is to get someone's information. So work towards the very first step, just get them into the process, and then you've got a welcome series that will be going out to them, all that automated as well, to tell them more about whatever your business is, or whatever it is that you're trying to sell them through this sales cycle. Next one, use directional cues and content. And so here in this example, you see this, get a 5-star Mexico vacation for a 2-star price. Great, right? Name, email, phone. The use of arrows and high contrast helps a lot. So if you look at this image versus the one I'm about to show you, all of a sudden you can see that, okay, the arrow is pointing up at the button, your eye is drawn there, the button is higher contrast, so all of a sudden your eye is drawn there as well. So you're not figuring out what else am I trying to do. I'll just kind of show the two examples again, right? This is all just the same color, and all of a sudden it's high contrast with an arrow. You will see a lot of landing pages using these arrows. In our platform, you might remember that we've actually got an image editor, and you can use that image editor to create those arrows, whether you want them to look a little bit hand-drawn like this one, or whether you want it to look a little bit more graphically complete. Our tool will actually let you do both of those things. All right. Next thing is use testimonials, right? So we actually do, and it might be from your website, it might be from your social pages, Facebook or whatever it is, but we know that people trust reviews over advertising, right? And then what I've actually heard around Yelp is that restaurants that get below a 3.4 star rating go out of business very quickly. And that is a troubling idea. So, but the rationale is that people do use these reviews. They do think they're important, and 97% of consumers look at reviews before purchasing, right? So as you scroll down, include some reviews if you have them. If you have some pictures or what it is, it's all really important for people to see. Some other suggestions, right? This is right before I'm gonna actually go kind of build this thing. Use images and videos, right? This is an example of a fashion photographer. You can imagine that if you are a photographer, you are going to have a somewhat longer sales cycle, and individuals are going to want to see your work before they would consider even entering their information. But there's a landing page that is trying to do that. So images and video, background images are great. If you can remember this example right here, this is just a background image. As I scroll, the background image stays the same. It's really easy to use these. It doesn't even need to be a picture like this. It can just be kind of a design. I would also say, buy, use, or copy a template, right? Pay for it. But you can find landing page templates out there that literally will cost you like $15 or $11 or something like that. And you can actually find ones in the industry that you're in. So if you were to type into Google, landing page template, fashion industry, you're going to find hundreds, all pretty expensive, and it makes your life a whole lot easier. That doesn't mean you don't want to use your colors and your fonts and all those sort of things. Background images are great also, and typically you want ones that are not very cluttered, without too many colors. And our jewelry example in a second that we're going to build together actually has this. Use lots of white space. You'll notice that many of the examples kind of have, if you will, sections. And then finally, big buttons, big fields, high contrast, right? So just so you can see it. All right, we're moving pretty quickly, but I actually think now, well, this is actually one last piece. We're going to talk about a typical structure of a landing page, and then we're going to go build one. So a typical structure of a landing page will look a bit like this, right? With maybe your logo and phone number at the top, or maybe just your website, but a very clear offer statement, right? This is what you're trying to sell. And then maybe a subheading, right? What's the offer about? Why should they fill out the form? What's the value proposition? What are they going to get if they fill it out? In our example, it's going to be a design consultation. So then you probably have some sort of a form. I would only collect as much, and I actually realized I made a mistake here. It should say first name, last name, email address, and then you want your call to action, right? Subscribe, get your free copy, whatever it is that you are asking them to do. I would really recommend capturing only the information that you need, right? I wouldn't, if they're trying to get a catalog and that's what you're going to send them, well, you're probably going to need their physical address. But if you're just going to send them emails, maybe just do their first name and email address, and that's it, or maybe just their email address. And then as you scroll down, you can have more, right? Some sort of subheading or value statement, which is all the other reasons to engage. As you keep scrolling, you might find features and benefits with some images. And then you might have a testimonial section. And at the bottom, what I'd recommend is just a restatement of the offer, right? You made this great offer up at the top, get a free design consultation, and right down here, remind them why they're there. Okay, great. Yep, I'm going to go fill this out. I'm going to hit my call to action. So it doesn't always need to be structured like this, but it's a relatively good idea. So now moving on, I'm going to go to our platform, and we're going to go build a landing page that looks like this. It's relatively quick to build, and my goal is to give you a sense of how that works. So you come to our platform, you go to integrate and landing pages, and this will open up our landing page editor. You can just build forms here. You can just build little things you want to collect, just a tiny bit of information. But here I can say, hey, add new landing page. And what data do you want to collect? Let's just go with first, last email. We might even delete some of that. But this is now going to open up our landing page editor. What I like to do is I like to add a bunch of rows, and you'll kind of see why. I just add a bunch of rows, and so now you can see what we're actually going to build. I did take the liberty of kind of getting the colors and the width all off to the start. So let me actually start putting in these settings. So when you're in our tool, there's this tab right here called settings, and look, we can change that width to 1025 right there. And now we can talk about the background color and the content area colors. So I'm going to grab this background color. Oops. I'm going to grab this background color and put it right here. Whoops. All right. Well, I obviously didn't copy it. Okay. Then I'm going to get the content area color. That's actually the same color. There we go. My button will be this color, and now we know my width. So you've got the beginning. You can put a title and a description. just like any web page has a title and a description. So, I can, call this, set up time with our designer or something like that. So when we look at this, we've got a logo, we've got a little space on the top, a logo, phone number. So up here, I'm just going to put a spacer in and make it a little bit smaller. So when I'm here, I can drop that down to, let's call it 20. Looks good. Now I want here to have the logo and the phone number. So I'm going to add a couple of areas. I'm going to put my logo there, and I'm going to put my phone number there. So when I come back here, I can say I want to put my image right there, and I'm going to put my phone number right there. Oh, I did forget to change the font. I don't like Arial. It's going to be Georgia. It's a nicer font for I think jewelry, but you'd probably use whatever's on your website. I'm going to now go grab that logo, and here I have my logo, and I'm going to put a little spacer right there, and then below that, you can see I've already got my form here. It's a little bit too wide. I'm going to shrink that down quite a bit. I do need now a background image behind this thing. So what I'm going to do here is click on this row and actually say I want a background image, row background image, choose that. You'll see the image that we're choosing is this kind of pleasant little textured thing. So it's there, you don't quite see it yet, but now I know I have some space, design your dream ring, and then I have schedule a design session with an image below that. So now I will just simply start putting in some of those pieces. I want a paragraph item right there and another one below it. And then I want to have an image right below there. Let's go choose that image of that wedding ring. There it is. What you'll notice is this is actually a transparent image. You probably have a lot of those, but it's nice because it doesn't cause any trouble with the background image. So now I'm just going to center this. I'm going to, whoa, I think I just deleted it. No, I'm going to make this, call it 60. Okay, this should say, what should it say? Design your. Okay. Oh, I didn't change the font. Changed spacing. So 60, design your. I can make this dream wedding ring. Couple exclamation points. I'm going to center that as well. And I'm going to change that to 80. I don't know if that's too big or not. I can get rid of this entire row. Don't really need it. I might actually add a little spacer right above that. Maybe make it a little bit smaller. I can, as a note, start changing padding and all those sorts of things. Oh, the last thing I think we wanted to do here was actually change the color of the button. So when I'm clicked here on the form, I'm going to change my button options. The color I want for my button is this brown. So I'm going to change that. And also, I want to call this like schedule a design consultation. And there we go. Maybe I will actually make that button a little bit more narrow. Oops. There, oops. I definitely don't want it on 2 lines. So I'll make it a little bit more narrow. And, so I think what you're seeing here is that we actually have a landing page that we built with very little work, took just a few seconds. It is 1:30 now, so I'm going to hand it back to Jason to kind of take us to the end of the conversation.
Great. Thanks for doing that, Scott. Obviously we covered a lot there, and what we hope you're all seeing is that it's a really powerful tool, but it's really easy to use. It's largely drag and drop, copy and paste, maybe pull up an image that you already have saved, and you can build your landing page fairly quickly. So as Scott mentioned, we are out of time, and with that, we just wanted to get to our second poll question before everyone takes off, and that poll question is, are you interested in a complimentary data-driven marketing assessment? Please answer one of those options below. Absolutely too busy, no thanks, or unsure. And while you're doing that, I'll just remind you that at Ascend360, we do integrate with over 100 POS and e-commerce, lodging, and booking systems. If you're interested in a complimentary demo with us, go ahead and respond to this poll question, or you can also reach out to our head of marketing, Heather Knutson, at hknutson@ascend360.com, and we'll be sure to get back to you shortly. Thanks again, everyone, for joining today. We really loved having you. We hope this was helpful, and we will see you next quarter.
Thank you.